Here's tomorrow's forecast. Lingering clouds, maybe a few showers first thing in the morning, but sunshine returning for the afternoon. Should be a nice Saturday, even better for Sunday. But in the near term, it's all about that severe weather threat tonight. We'll have full details on that coming up in just a few short minutes.
And if you haven't already, now is a great time to download the KATC weather app. Be sure to enable sound and push alerts so you can remain weather aware. Well, there are new developments tonight in the Trayford-Pellerin case. State police tell us their investigation into the case is completed as to what happened the night Trayford-Pellerin was killed. Pellerin was shot and killed by Lafayette police in August. According to detectives, he attempted to enter a convenience store along the Evangeline Thruway armed with a knife. State police findings were sent over to the DA's office in December. The DA will now decide whether or not to file charges and convene a grand jury. The first lawsuit has been filed in the Secor power disaster. The wife of one of the missing filed a lawsuit in Houston, which is where Secor's home office is located. Dylan Daspit's wife, Hannah, filed a suit against Secor Marine, Secor Lift Boats, and Talos Energy Wednesday. Our Katie Easter spoke with Hannah Daspit's attorney.
After 8 days of searching for crew members on the Secor power vessel, Hannah Daspit, wife of Dylan Daspit, filed this lawsuit in Texas against Secor and Talos Energy.
Maybe they could do it a little safer. Maybe they could do it like and have EPIRB devices so that if somebody falls in the water, they can find them immediately, like immediately.
The lawsuit alleges the National Weather Service was forecasting tropical storm force winds with suddenly higher waves in the area when the lift boat left the port.
They don't have to listen to the radio to find out if there's a bad storm coming. They're supposed to listen to the weather. And I don't mean just the captain. I mean the dispatcher. I mean Talos Energy. And usually it's about getting the boat out on site, which is exactly what happened here. Get the boat out on site. Time is money.
According to Daspit's attorney, Francis Spagnoletti, Secor is blaming the captain, David Leday.
You don't blame the people that do the work every day for you for what goes wrong. You are the captain of the ship, and that's the owner of the thing, okay?
Spagnoletti says the sooner families like Daspit file, the better.
All these widows are going to eventually have to have lawyers, and all these injured parties are going to have lawyers, because they try to limit the liability to the value of the vessel after the loss.
For now, the search will continue. Katie Easter, KTC, TV3.
We reached out to Secor and Talos Energy for comment, but as of news time, we have yet to hear back. Happening today, a jambalaya benefit for the family of one of the men who died in the Secor power disaster. Ernest Williams of Arnaville was one of the crew members on board the ship. His body was found last week. Williams' wife tells us he was just coming off of a 9-day shift when Captain David Leday called asking Williams to come on board the Secor power and cook for the crew. Earlier today, cars lined up in front of Brookdale Elderly Center in Lafayette. Each jambalaya plate lunch sold will go towards the Ernest Williams family. His daughter actually works there at Brookdale. The center's health and wellness director says once they heard her father was found dead last week, they knew they had to do something to help this family.
Thank you for everything that you've donated to make this a success and to just show our employee that you don't have to be a part of the great Brookdale culture to care. Hands across America, hands across Lafayette, that's what I'm seeing.
She also goes on to tell us the jambalaya plate lunches raised $3,700 for the Williams family and $500 for the United Cajun Navy. For continuing coverage of the Secor power disaster, head to KATC.com/golf search. There you can find more about the fundraisers for the families of the Secor power victims and those missing. Well, just a reminder, tomorrow is Election Day across Louisiana. Voters in Acadia, Evangeline, Iberia, and Vermilion parishes will cast their ballots on propositions there. You can find more information on what's on your ballot at KATC.com. Well, Festival International now underway, yet downtown Lafayette is virtually quiet. Our Jim Humble joining us live downtown with a look at preparations. Jim.
Marcel, over the next few days, everybody at home has the chance to listen to performances by more than 50 artists from all over the world for this virtual Festival International. And tonight we're taking you behind the scenes, taking a look at the production behind the virtual show. Although Park International sounds and looks nothing like it should this time of year, festival faithful like Lindsay Smythe aren't closing the door on a good time.
Virtual festival, honestly, is one of those things where for the first time we can actually get to experience festival in the backyards of our friends. Sadly, we're not going to have all those international artists in person to see, but how else do you get to see all these international artists but in our backyard?
And for those at-home festival parties, festival organizers are working on quite the virtual lineup to make it feel like you're right here. Add editor to festival executive director Scott Fian's repertoire.
Lock creative people up for too long, they're going to start doing some really creative things.
Fian says after a year in the pandemic, artists have brought their virtual performances to a new level.
So a lot of the footage that we got is in high definition, shot from a really nice camera, edited down really nicely. So I think the quality overall of what we got this year was much better than last year.
And while AOC community media volunteers won't have performances to shoot and cable to run, Executive Director Ed Bowie tells me how the nonprofit is still lending a hand.
The festival has handled aggregating all their content and they're streaming to their Facebook page, and then we're capturing their stream as well, and we'll be running the festival on our channel.
The show goes on, and already many are looking forward to Festival 2022.
It's going to be the craziest party I think Lafayette's ever seen.
Hearing some of the music downtown as I speak. Well, there are a few ways you can watch this year's virtual festival performance. The festival will be live streamed over at Festival International's Facebook page, and you can also watch on TV, as I mentioned, over on AOC. Look for channels 3 and 4 on LUS or 15 and 16 on Cox. And don't forget, food is another big part of Festival International, something we all love about the festival. And restaurants here in downtown Lafayette and really across Acadiana are taking part in the Feastival contest. When you order their festival special, you'll get the cashier's initials added to the back of a card, and then you'll keep the receipt. You'll want to hold on to that. And May 4th, by May 4th, you can drop it off your card with the receipts over here at the festival office. There's a drop box, or you can also email them at diane@festivalinternational.org. Again, this is a contest with some prizes there. So the skies just opened up down here in downtown Lafayette. There's always that one night of festival where it rains, but hey, the rain angels, I'm sure they'll take care of us for the rest of this year's virtual event. Marcel, I'll send it back to you with a happier look, some of the happier memories of festival. You know, we all love coming down here to Anchor on those Thursdays and Fridays. And Marcel, this is one of my favorite photos. I'm sure you remember that walk home and running into that marching band a couple years back, one of my favorite festival memories. Marcel?
Thank you, Jim. One of my favorite indeed. That was quite a night for us to remember. So much fun covering Festival International in downtown Lafayette. And virtual festival is absolutely the next best thing. Well, still to come right here on Acadiana's News Channel at 6. Students at STM are learning to be environmentally conscious. We'll tell you about the important lessons coming up, and also Rob's full forecast for where you live. It's coming up next.
Forecast. Here's KATC Chief Meteorologist Rob Perillo.
Welcome back. Well, it's going to be a stormy night for portions of Louisiana. The question is how much of Acadiana is going to be under that risk, and how's it all going to play out? We do know we're going to be watching the radar all night long. Hopefully that's all we have to do, not break into programming and do live coverage, but that is on the table, so stay weather aware for tonight. Here's the big picture: strong, intense showers and storms. We've got a tornado watch in effect, and you can see those strong showers and storms across Texas. Severe weather watches all the way up through the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles. Meanwhile, locally for us, we've been watching showers and storms advance into the region. Now, we do have a tornado watch in effect. Cameron, Jeff Davis, Acadia, St. Landry, Avoyelles, Evangeline. We get into Rapides, also Vernon, Beauregard, Allen, Calcasieu, and Cameron parishes in the southeastern counties of Texas. That's till 9 o'clock tonight, so we'll watch that. Don't know if we're going to see a weather watch push farther to the south later on tonight, but we may see an additional weather watch, especially for northern portions of Acadiana, beyond 9 o'clock tonight. Also, a flash flood watch in effect for central portions of Louisiana, but it does impact the northern parishes of Acadiana. Upwards of 2 to 6 inches of rain, a distinct possibility, and we'll show you that on some of our projections coming up in just a bit. Now, the Storm Prediction Center upped our threat to of severe weather to an enhanced level. I-10 parishes on northward, and that enhanced level is a level 3 out of 5. So that's pretty serious. The risk of storms that could contain damaging winds, maybe isolated tornadoes, can't even rule out hail. That risk will be lower to the south, could be a little bit higher as you get into northeast Louisiana and into Mississippi. You can see this goes well into Mississippi as well. So on the radar late this afternoon, you can see those storms with a lot of cloud to ground lightning across southeastern, eastern Texas and into western Louisiana. This is associated with a warm front out ahead of our main upper level feature that's back here in Texas igniting these storms. The question is, will these storms build southward and impact the rest of Acadiana, or will it all be heading for central Louisiana and northern portions of Acadiana, which is going to be problematic for sure for our friends to the north? Now, scattered showers across Acadiana popping up late this afternoon, early this evening, so that's the way it's going to go, but I don't think we're going to see any serious weather threats for most of Acadiana until after midnight tonight. But you get into northern portions of Acadiana, central Louisiana, different story this evening. Going into tonight, you can see the heavy rainfall up by Fort Polk, and then farther to the east into Avoyelles Parish. Pretty healthy shower just moving through Opelousas and now Washington as we speak. So here's the graph model showing all the heavy-duty weather impacting just northern portions of Acadiana. We'll have to watch this for sure, central Louisiana, but the graph model, the short-term model, insists on bringing a squall line through, and these are models update hour by hour, so I'm getting fresh runs, and this has been consistent. So anytime between midnight and 3 a.m., still the risk of severe storms. After that, things will be quieting down. And looking at some of the tornado parameters as we get into later on tonight, again, the greatest risk across northwestern sections of Acadiana, northern sections of Acadiana, also migrating into Mississippi. So not concerned so much with tornadoes close to home, but look at this heavy rain threat across central Louisiana, northern portions of Acadiana, upwards of 5 inches of rain based on our graph model, and much the same on the high resolution rapid refresh model. And then on top of that, we're going to have strong winds feeding into those storms. They're going to be gusting over 40 at times, so keep that in mind. It's going to be a little bit of a rough night tonight as we move forward. 90% on your rain chances tonight. Things quiet down though thereafter, and it looks good for Sunday and beyond. Marcel?
All righty, thank you, Robin. Still to come on KATC.
Scott Brasda here at St. Thomas More. We are talking environmental science and all things earthly like compost. That story tonight.
Technically yesterday, but when it comes to protecting our planet, every day is Earth Day, and some high schoolers are taking that to heart. Here's Scott, Spirit of Acadiana.
Here at St. Thomas More, John Dupuy teaches 6 sections of environmental science. You learn about the earth, things in the water, you learn about dirt, compost, that and a whole lot more.
What happened to our pumpkins this year?
It froze.
Yeah, when the first frost hit, the pumpkins were gone, so we know we need to have them in the ground earlier. When they're making decisions, when they're buying homes, when they're establishing things, and when they are making those decisions, that they will remember, in the background what they learned years ago in environmental science. Look at the top right there. You can see the top.
Oh, that is a big carrot.
Because it's not crowded by a lot of other carrots. Ooh, a little stubby right there.
Class for these seniors is in session, and John Dupuy is providing an ecological educational mix. Some lessons inside the classroom, some outside.
I ended up learning a lot more than I thought.
How to mix vermiculite and soil.
Aquaponics, where we can raise fish and grow plants and herbs at the same time.
Everything we learned in this class is what we need to do on this earth to make sure it lasts as long as we can, We gotta protect our environment.
What's going to happen is what's decomposing is going to take away the nutrients from the plant that we're trying to work with, right?
Both teacher and students agree it's about learning now and laying a foundation for later.
We don't know when our climate and our environment might not go so well, so we need to start taking action, even if it's small things like recycling, planting in our own garden. It really makes a difference.
Environmental science at STM. Literally and figuratively, it's about planting seeds to create protectors of our planet.
Anything that's going to help them to be better stewards of the earth, that's what I'm going for.
One other thing I learned in environmental science class, these guys, palms, blessed palms from Easter, they can't be thrown away, but they can be repurposed. So they've been put in a compost bin and they are turning back into the earth. At St. Thomas More in Lafayette, Scott Brasney, KATC, TV3.
And still to come right here on KATC, a surprise impact player during last night's Vermilion and White Spring game. All you need to know coming up next in sports.
For sports with KATC Sports Director Andrew Clay.
A little daylight baseball in the Sun Belt. Little Rock's Nathan Lyons here, sticking that right behind Josh Cofield at third. It's a 2-run single for Little Rock. He'll get gunned down getting in the second, but the Trojans break this game open in the 6th inning with 4 runs. It's Little Rock taking game 1 of this series with Louisiana 8-2. Lions drove in 4 runs on 3 hits this afternoon. Louisiana's now lost 5 of its last 6 games. I'll have full highlights from this one coming up tonight at 10. Now, a few of the bright moments from last night's spring game came on the defensive side of the ball. Safety Blair Brooks had a game-high 10 tackles. Mekhi Gardner broke up 4 passes. And linebacker Chris Moncrief had a few impact plays for Team White. Moncrief intercepted Levi Lewis in the end zone on the opening drive, joking afterwards that he couldn't believe the ball was coming his way. The junior recorded 4 tackles, 2 for a loss. Moncrief has been a key part of Louisiana's defense since his freshman year, but last spring he moved to inside linebacker. It was a bit of a slow transition for him. He recorded career low 25 tackles, but with a full offseason to learn his new role, he's taken a big step forward this spring.
Last year, it really wasn't, I really didn't have like the great year I didn't have the year up to par. So I feel like I was able to tell my teammates I held up my standard on my part of the defense. Then like Coach Scott helped me realize like it's a jump. All you have to do is just like learn what you do. And Coach Scott helped me out a lot, and I thank him for that.
Last year, he missed out on this opportunity, right? We moved him to inside linebacker, then the pandemic hit, he missed out on that opportunity. All those reps, all those walkthroughs, all those meetings last spring kind of set him back. But this spring, he's really taken off.